Yo, what is up, guys? I am just going to live stream very quickly because I wanted to discuss the GOAT list. So, yes, what is up? I was not rage baiting. Just want to see if people join. What is going on? What is up? What is up? But yeah, let's talk. We got to talk about the GOAT list. Everybody is saying that I'm rage baiting. Everybody is saying that I'm rage baiting, but I'm not. And I don't know why I can't see the chat. I'm having an issue with the chat for some reason. Let's see. I don't know why I can't see the chat. I can't see the chat. Sorry, guys. What is up? Thank you for the dono, Juan. I'm looking at my phone right now, but okay. I can't see the chat for whatever reason. Let me try to set this up. Private chat, banners, comments. What the fuck is going on, dude? I don't know what's going on. Let's see. Juan, what is up? Thank you. Thank you for the $5, dude. Thank you. Stream a few times. We'll see. We will see. But I needed to come on here to talk about the GOAT list because everybody is saying I'm rage baiting, and I'm not rage baiting. I promise you guys I'm not rage baiting. I want to get that out of the way. I just want to say this. For those of you that have been watching my channel for a while, you probably know by now when I'm trolling because I'll shortly afterwards say something along the lines of just kidding, or I'll laugh. Sometimes I laugh when I'm being serious because I know how some people are going to take it. And I laugh at like suspecting what the reaction will be. But I do not. I think guys, I can't see the chat, by the way. I'm on StreamYard. I can't see the chat. I just got a huge donation. $500 CKZ or CZK. Come on, stream more often. We'll see. I appreciate that. Thank you. I mean, guys, I got to say, I've been getting comfortable watching the fights without streaming and whatnot. And but I felt like I needed to hop on, and I felt like I needed to stream because this seems to be a very controversial GOAT list. But thank you for the dono. I appreciate that. People are saying debate Kenny. I will destroy Kenny in a debate, but you know, I just wanted to hop on here to talk about this list. I'm not going to do a debate right now, but I will be happy to address what he wants me to address. If he's live streaming, I'd be happy to do this. If he wants to challenge anything in this GOAT list, like 2 or 3 things, he can ask 2 or 3 things and I'll talk about that. But I want to have time to discuss this. I don't want to do a whole debate. I just wanted to hop on for a little bit. He's live streaming. Okay. Like, dude, listen. I don't want to do a whole debate right this second, but I will say this. I have good arguments. And back to my point. I'm not rage baiting, dude. I promise you guys, I don't rage bait. Let me just say this. If you disagree with what I'm saying, then at least hear me out. But I'm not the kind of person to be like, oh, I think it would be really funny to put Arman in the top 25 to troll people. Like, I may like accept that, okay, maybe it was a little too high, but like, I'm not doing that to troll anyone. That this is not a rage bait GOAT list. I promise you, I did not go into recording this thinking about rage bait. I did as best as I could. I promise you, none of this is rage bait. Okay. And I feel like I needed to go live to explain that. Lucas, I feel like this is more of a best fighters ever more than the greatest. It isn't. That's why Ilya is not number 1. Otherwise, I would have Ilya at number 1. Arman only beat 2 top 10 guys. This list sucks. Okay, first off, I'm going to address a couple of things that Kenny wants me to discuss or he thinks is wrong. But let's talk about the Arman thing since that's like the most controversial thing. Let's talk. Okay, who do you guys think is higher than Arman? Like, You guys think that, first off, you're lucky I didn't have Arman higher than DJ, higher than DC. I just got to say that. But like, just give me some people that should be ahead of Arman. Fiziev? Okay, stop. That's crazy. Izzy? All right, let's talk about Izzy. Great. Let's talk about Izzy. Arman Serukian, right? Let's talk about his best wins. Charles Oliveira, Beneil Dariush, Mateusz Gamrot. I don't want to hear anyone say anything about, oh, no, the Gamrot fight wasn't a win. If we can all agree with this, judges get rounds wrong. This is like the one thing that people don't understand. If one judge scores a 10-9 to Adesanya, the other judge scores a 10-9 to Whitaker, are they both right? So we do understand that two judges scoring a 10-9 to one guy could be wrong. We always complain about robberies. We always complain about this scorecard's wrong, that scorecard's wrong. Why is it that we must accept the result on paper? We can complain about the result after a fight. We could talk about the judge clearly got that wrong. That's a fucking robbery. But once it's on paper, it's like, no, dude, that's subjective. That's biased, dude. You got to accept it. No. Arman Serukian should have beaten Mateusz Gamrot. He won 4 rounds. Therefore, I'm counting that as a win for Arman. Just because 2 or 3 people, especially when judges are known for giving shitty scorecards these days, just because 2 people may have the wrong scorecards does not mean that I have to change the way that I see reality when I'm watching a fight and I have to rewrite it. No. He has a win over Gamrot. He has a win over Oliveira. Everyone talks about Oliveira. Oh yeah, Oliveira's a GOAT. Oliveira has like goated wins. Yeah, how many? Tony Ferguson, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, Beneil Dariush. Can we name any more? No, but he has a bunch of losses on top of that. You know, he mentioned Izzy. Let's just talk about Oliveira. Oliveira has like 10 losses in MMA. Arman Serukian has 1 on short notice to the GOAT of the fucking sport. 10 losses versus 1 on short notice to the GOAT of the fucking sport in his UFC debut. So let's talk about this. Oliveira, let's talk. How many wins does Oliveira have that are amazing? Poirier, Gaethje, Tony. When Tony was coming off of a loss, already kind of old, like 38. Good win. He has a win over Beneil Dariush. Okay, great. Arman has that too. We can't. Oh, Dariush is 50 years old. Dariush just won against Renato Moicano 2 years ago when he lost, or a year and a half ago when he lost to Arman Serukian. He wasn't 40 years old. He's never been 40. Arman beat Oliveira. He has a win over the guy that we say is goated. Arman has a win over the guy that nobody would think is controversial to put on this list. He has a win over one of Oliveira's best wins in Beneil Dariush. He has a win over Mateusz Gamrot, who we can all agree is better than 90% of Charles Oliveira's wins. Outside of Poirier, Gaethje, Mateusz Gamrot in his prime, who had a great performance even when he lost to Arman Serukian, you can all agree that Mateusz Gamrot, again, like that is a better win than Jim Miller and Christos Giagos. Like that's what we're talking about in Oliveira. How is it controversial to put Arman Serukian, who beat Oliveira, who beat Gamrot, a robbery where judges get rounds wrong? And I'm not about to just sit here and say, no, you can't accept that. Yeah, we can. Judges can get fucking rounds wrong. If 2 judges disagree on a round, both of them are not right. And then also, we have Damir Ismagulov, who's only lost to 2 top 10 fighters. He's only lost to people in the top 5. Decent win. We've got Beneil Dariush, one of Oliveira's best wins. Probably Oliveira's 3rd best win, to be honest, if you're going to take into account that Tony was a little old. And then you've also got who else? Who's the other guy that Arman beat? Arman beat someone else that was actually pretty good. I forget his name. This is not helping my case. No. This is not Ragebait. Who's the other guy that Arman beat? Who's the other? Okay, yo. I actually want to read the chat. And I can't because for whatever reason it's not working. So I just have my phone. This list is based, bro. Okay, yeah, it is based. Most don't know the sport and ride trends and have old head bias top. Yeah, exactly. Like The thing is, people have this idea that no, Arman only has like a couple good wins. So does like every other person on this list. Like Khabib only has a couple good wins. What's Khabib's strength on a GOAT list? He has an amazing ratio of wins to losses, and he only has a couple great wins. Kind of similar to Arman, right? Great ratio of wins to losses, 9-1. His loss is like a competitive loss on short notice in his UFC debut to Islam Makhachev, who had multiple fights in the UFC up until that point, was on a win streak. Outside of a couple of wins, like Charles Oliveira is a better win than any other win than Khabib has. And it's controversial to put Arman like 10 spots below Khabib. Like, make it make sense. People think that they're like, oh no, like they think they're onto some shit with it. No, you're not. I think about this more than anyone. I have the best fucking GOAT list on the planet. Yeah, son. Okay, dude. I'm starting to crash out a little bit, bro. You smoking meth if you think Arman is a better resume than DP, bro. Okay, listen, it's close. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say Arman's levels above, but let's talk about it, bro. Dustin Poirier's best win is over who? Max Holloway. That's okay. Maybe I'm about to eat my words because that's Max Holloway's higher than anyone Arman beat. But like, listen, dude. Hey, hold on. You actually may be onto something, but here's the problem though. Dustin Poirier has like 10 losses, bro. Like, if you're gonna give people credit for wins, you have to punish them for losses. And this is the thing. If we're gonna punish Dustin for losing to Michael Johnson, I'm pretty sure he lost to Cub Swanson, man. Like, this guy has like 10 losses. Johnson, Swanson, dude, you can name it. You can keep going on. This guy, that guy, a bunch of goats. How many does Arman have? A half a loss to Islam Makhachev on short notice. That's the thing that separates them. Like I said, that quality of competition was amazing, but the second or third most important thing, ratio of wins to losses, Dustin's ratio of wins to losses aren't that great. And here's the thing. I feel like a guy like Max Holloway also has a bunch of losses, but not as many to people like Michael Johnson, man. TKZ. Dude, Max Holloway's not losing to TKZ Michael Johnson while he's decent. And that's the difference. But what does Kenny want to debate? Because, like, what does he want to debate? Adesanya? Okay, let me just address Adesanya. Okay? This is what I have to say about Adesanya. Because I'm guessing that he wants Adesanya in, like, the top 10. Okay? Adesanya, outside of his Alex Pereira win and Robert Whittaker win, what else does he have? What's Adesanya's third best win? Let me actually figure this out. What is Adesanya's third best win? I think. Hold on. What is his best win? Cannonier? Oh yeah, Cannonier, huh? Yoel, that's he lost to Yoel, and even if you count it as a win, like nothing fucking happened in that fight. Rob Wilkinson, Yoel. What's his third best win? What's his third best win? You know what, dude? Dude, you know what? Hold on. What is his third best? Everyone wants me to debate. Listen, I don't want to turn this entire thing into like, oh, this debate, bro. Like, I just wanted to hop on here to defend my takes. It's going to turn into like the Kenny Lucas show debate type of thing. I know people want me to debate Kenny, but like, dude, here's the thing. Adesanya just has so many L's. He has so many L's. He's lost to Jan Blachowicz. He's lost to Nasruddin Imavov. He's lost to Sean Strickland. He's lost to Alex Pereira. He's lost to Robert Whittaker. He's lost to Yoel Romero. Outside of like 3 decent wins, everything is like mid. Like the Costa win has aged shit. The Vittori win has aged shit. Like, what are we talking about if Adesanya's top 10? I think he's in a good spot. Like, he's a legend. He's one of the GOATs. Why are we upset with the fact that Adesanya is one of the GOATs? I don't understand that. But let me look at the chat. People are saying debate Kenny. Robert Whittaker. Yeah, but Whittaker arguably beat him in the rematch. And I think that was a robbery. A very close fight, but I think it was a robbery. This is the thing. Like, Adesanya just has too many losses. And his wins aren't strong enough to catapult him that high. Like, he's lost to Pereira, who he's 1-1 with. He's 1-1 with Robert Whittaker, in my opinion. Okay, outside of that, he's lost to Strickland. You know, people want to, oh, Strickland's not that. Oh, yeah, he lost to Strickland. He lost to Jan. Okay? He lost to a Mavov. He got knocked out by a Mavov. He lost to Dricus du Plessis. He's lost to too many people in his prime years. He's similar to Poirier. It's very similar. The only difference is Poirier has better wins. That's the best way I can explain it to you. Adesanya, from the age of like 29 to 35, has way too many losses. From the time Adesanya was undefeated in the UFC, championship mode, to now, where he's only 35, he has too many losses. He cannot be that high. And the wins, it'd be one thing if Adesanya had beat Mavov and he beat du Plessis and he beat this guy and that guy. Oh yeah, after the Whittaker win and after the Pereira win, who he's 1-1 with, Costa Vittori, Brunson is a good win. I think Brunson's a good win. I do. And I think Cannonier's a good win. Cannonier's a good win. Solid win. Underrated win. See, I'm not biased. I can catch that. That's a good win. The Cannonier win's good. The Brunson win's good. 4 good wins. Outside of that, what are we talking? You see what I mean? What are we talking? Too many. And this is the thing. People will say, oh, it's disrespectful. He's top 25. That's not disrespectful. Like, out of all the people that have competed in MMA, oh, it's so disrespectful that I have Fedor Emelianenko and fucking, Max Holloway Khabib ahead of Adesanya. I'm not going to sit here and say Adesanya's resume is not that good. I'm just saying, like, what's the argument that he's so much higher, right? Don't act like Aldo was fighting plumbers. Beating Prime Mendez and Edgar twice is great. It is. That's why Aldo's very high. Thank you for the $20. Aldo's burner. Also, he wasn't in his prime versus Volk. Years of fighting damage matters more than age. Yeah, I'm just not hearing it, man. I'm not hearing it because the thing is, if Aldo looked like crap, if Aldo had zero chin after the McGregor loss, after the Holloway fights, then I would agree with you, but that's just not the case. Aldo doesn't have zero chin. Like the last time I checked, Aldo actually took a beating in the first round against Rob Font and was totally fine and won that and dominated the rest of the fight. Aldo had a scrap with Jonathan Martinez, right? Like, we can't say he's chinny. We can't say, though, the damage got to him and he was slow. Like, he beat Frankie Edgar after he lost to Conor McGregor. Frankie Edgar has amazing wins. Frankie Edgar has a good resume. Frankie Edgar was still really good, right? I just don't think you can say Aldo is washed. I mean, yeah, there are some fighters that are like 31 and washed, like Nico Price, Vicente Luque. Those are the kind of fighters. But Aldo, even though he stopped kicking and maybe wasn't at his absolute pinnacle when he was like 34, he was still very good. The guy still looks great today. He's one of the oldest fighters that you can actually sit there and say, you know what? This guy's actually really impressive. He's moving around lightning speed faster than these younger guys. You can't say he's not old. He is old. He's not in his prime anymore, but he wasn't washed when he was like fighting Volk, fighting Max, fighting Jan. I just can't hear that. So like he was in his peak when he happened to be fighting much lower levels of competition. Like really, let's think about it. After the Conor McGregor knockout loss, did he lose to guys on the same level as Mendez? Did he lose to guys on the same level as TKZ? No, not until when he fought Ayman Zahabi. He was losing to people that were 50 leagues ahead of them. So we can't say, oh no, he was fighting the same levels of competition and just started losing. Like, no, that's not what was happening. Your bummish antics know no bounds. Thank you for the $2. Longtime supporter, fam god, dude. I appreciate that. Favorite trance track at the moment? Oh, dude. What is it? Favorite trance track? That's actually a pretty good question. Let me just pull up my playlist. I'll give you a good one. Let me try to think of one. That's a good. Oh shit, dude. I don't know. I would say She-Wolf. There's like a song called it's like what have I done? the stars of Brady. I don't, dude. I don't know. It's like a David Guetta remix or something like that. Let me try to pull it up, bro. I don't know, man. Oh yeah, yeah. Let me. Okay, here's a good one. Still Alive, Skeller remix. Still Alive, Skeller remix. That's a solid one. Let me just make sure I'm. Yeah, yeah. Still Alive. It's not really trance, but it's kind of like trance. That's a good one. Anyway, it's a good track. Where's McGregor? He beat 3 people on the list. Yeah, because some of those wins were when they were rookies. Like Dustin Poirier was a rookie when McGregor beat him. You know, it's like we can't give Makhachev that much credit for beating Arman. It's a good win, but like he's kind of a rookie, right? I know Dustin was ranked, but like ranked in 2013, how many featherweights were there? 10? 10 featherweights? Yeah. So, I mean, that's a good win, but Max Holloway, like Holloway was a freaking tadpole. So, yeah, we have to, like, were they in their prime years? I have a great list. I do. Okay, let me just say this. Now that we have a ton of people, the Arman take is not crazy because here's the thing. People will be like, why is Arman lower? Or why? Like, they'll just say, because I'm trying to think of people like below Arman, because I was going to address people higher than Arman. But even someone like Demetrius Johnson, like, he's 1-1 with Cejudo. Outside of Cejudo, what are DJ's best wins? Joseph Benavidez? And then what? Okay? Like, Charles Oliveira is higher than Cejudo on the all-time list. Arman beat him. So right off the bat, that's a better win than Cejudo. And guess what? Arman's not 1-1 with Oliveira. He's 1-0. And you could actually make an argument that DJ didn't beat Prime Cejudo the first time. That was prime year Cejudo, but not peak Cejudo. Whereas Arman beat Oliveira 1 win removed from fighting for the title, and actually 1 win removed from beating Beneil Dariush. Oliveira in his last like 13 fights was like 12-1. Arman had a clear win over him. Then you have Dariush. Then you have Gamrot. The Gamrot fight is a robbery. Judges get fights wrong. If you have 2 judges score rounds to different fighters, they're both not right. That's the easiest argument to destroy anyone that has anything to say about, oh, you're biased. Oh, why don't you just accept what's on paper? It's the easiest argument ever to absolutely annihilate them. Like, I'm sorry, but that I count the Gamrot win 4-1. We were all saying, oh, that was a robbery. I thought Arman won. 2 years later, we're just going to say, oh, never mind. I'll just agree with the judges. They get it wrong all the time. No. Gamrot, Beneil Dariush, who he knocked out, Charles Oliveira, Damir Ismagulov, Joel Alvarez. Now, people are going to say Joel Alvarez hasn't done much. Okay, well, it's similar to like the Umar Nurmagomedov thing. I know Umar is the win over Sandhagen, but like we recognize that beating Joel Alvarez is good, do we not? Going into the Arman fight, if you were around, if you were a hardcore fan at the time, going into the Arman and Joel Alvarez fight, people were picking Joel Alvarez. MMA Guru, he picked Joel Alvarez. I remember. I've been watching. I used to fucking tune in to his way back in the day. He picked Joel Alvarez. Hardcore fans are picking Joel Alvarez. Joel Alvarez was on a streak. That's a good win. It's aged well. You can't say Joel Alvarez was a rookie. Arman's a rookie. Arman's a fucking eternal rookie, right? Arman's always been young. So the point that I'm making is, it's like, yeah, like Usman having a draw with Khamzat, I think is really good for him in his old age on short notice. Does Khamzat have the best resume? No, but like we know how good he is. We can always be wrong. Maybe Khamzat has nothing for the rest of his career. Maybe Joel Alvarez loses every fight for the rest of his career. We'll look at it differently in the future. But we know Joel Alvarez is a good win. Please, guys, outside of Henry Cejudo and Joseph Benavidez, you cannot keep naming names. Adriano Moraes, why? Because he beat DJ? Okay, that's a good win, but like, outside of that, what are we talking? You know? Like, it's not controversial to put DJ top 5, but Arman, who has Gamrot, Dariush, Oliveira, Ismagulov, Joel Alvarez, and out on top of that, 4 more quantity wins. with a very take it with a grain of salt loss against the GOAT of the sport. Nobody thinks it's controversial to have Charles Oliveira high up, but he has 10 losses. Arman, 1 loss against the GOAT of the sport in his debut on short notice, wasn't expected to win. 4 quantity wins plus 5 solid ones. It's not controversial. Please, I'm not rage baiting. I'm not. MMA Shay, thank you for the $50. Khabib at 6 is insane. DDP is more girthy. Okay, his muscles pop out. Got it. When the sweats, okay. I had no idea that's where this was going. Drickus is a fucking hunk, he says. Level of competition matters, dude. Fair enough. Good point. Drickus being a hunk proves the point, okay? Either way. Thank you for the $50. I appreciate that. People think I'm rage baiting. I'm not rage baiting. I'm not, guys. Arman, it's a good take. It's a good take. Straight up. It is. Stop baiting and debate Kenny. I don't want to turn this into a whole debate thing. I just wanted to hop on just to, rant a little bit, rave a little bit. And yeah. No Amanda Nunes on the list. Man, she's a tough cookie. Thank you for the $10. I appreciate that. I know I've missed a couple of donos. I get that, guys. I am sorry for missing some donos. I can't read the chat on my computer, so I have to read it on my phone. So I apologize. Glazy, you're wrong about Arman. He should actually be top 7. Crafty Armenian vet who's still young, top physique, Batman, elbows made of stone, and went to Thailand for ladyboys. Okay, thank you for the $20. Why is Uriah Faber not top 20? Thank you for the $2. I appreciate that. Why is Uriah Faber not top 20? Because he actually won the Laguna Beach Classic, and after that, he actually qualified for the MMA GOAT list, but we said that Laguna Beach Classic fighters were too OP, that they were a little bit too gravy, a little bit too wavy, and we just couldn't add them to the list, man. I'm sorry, bro. Uriah Faber was just too cool for school for the list, dude. So, yeah. Leon should be on the list. He's 1-1 with Bilal. 1-1, dude. You can't count the first fight. Like, here's the thing. I count the Jan fight with Aldo, but you can't count what Leon did to Bilal. That's an eye poke in the second round. Like, if it was an eye poke in the 5th round and Leon was up 4-1, I would count it. But, like, it's just, you can't really count that. I'm sorry. You can't count that. And Leon made the list. Leon's top 50. Again, guys, like, I mean, listen, I understand looking back at this, it just looks weird to put Arman so high. But again, like with so many GOATs, let's talk about DC. Okay, he's got Gus. Dude, Gus is overrated as fuck. No disrespect. I love Gus, man. He's one of my favorite fighters, bro. I absolutely love Gus, man. I remember training with Gus. We used to do boxing, bro. He's a freaking man. He's the man. But even though he's an old head legend, let's be honest, he has more bad losses than wins, dude. What's Gus's claim to fame? A win over Glover and a win over freaking young Jan Blachowicz? Yeah, he lost Rumble. He lost to freaking Verdum. He lost to Anthony Smith. He lost to DC. He lost to John Jones. Like, Gus is like a TKZ kind of fighter. I said that in my GOAT vid, but if you don't know, TKZ, he has like a 7-6 record in the UFC. It was like a 50-50, always fighting top levels of competition. But I think that Arman Serukian beating Oliveira is just way better than that. I think, but here's the thing. I have DC higher. I'm just saying, like, what are DC's best wins? He's got Gus. He's got Rumble. He's got Stipe once. And then after that, you're like Dan Henderson, and then you start to fall off. It's the same with Arman. It's Gamrot. It's Dariush. Dariush is a good fighter. You got to respect it. He's a good fighter. Proved that he wasn't washed. That win is even aged. The win is aged well. You've got Oliveira, Gamrot, Dariush, Joel Alvarez, eye test. We know Joel Alvarez is a beast. We know he's good. Look at his record. He's only lost once in his entire UFC career. He has like 8 wins. Finisher. Great fighter. Damir Ismagulov has only lost to 2 top 5 guys. And then 4 quantity wins. 4 quantity. So, like, I just don't, and 1 measly loss. I just don't see how you could say that Arman shouldn't make the list. Like, there are people that legitimately would have you believe that Arman shouldn't be top 50. But based on what logic? Based on ratio of wins to losses? Can't be that. Based on quality wins? Can't be that. If Arman had like 4 losses, he wouldn't be on the list. It's just that he has 1 loss that you could truly write off and 9 wins, and 5 of those happen to be solid. Every single GOAT on this list, after 4 wins, after some of them after 3 wins, it falls off of an absolute cliff, and they have losses that are actually bad. It's not rage bait. It's not rage bait. This is the thing, dude. We're done. We are done with this. Him, because people are getting hip to it. People are getting hip to it. They're starting to respect it. Morab is GOAT. They're starting to respect it. Volk ahead of Aldo. The problem is they still hold on to title wins way too much. It's not even the title wins anymore. They hold on to championship aura. That's what it is. It's championship aura. People are like, yeah, title wins are overrated. I think most people agree with that, but it's like, but he had a long reign and it's a legend. Arman's not a legend. He hasn't had a belt. Doesn't have any championship aura. But actually, if you look at his resume with the way that you critique anyone else's resume, you should have him high. So, yeah, I mean, I'll argue. I haven't even got to Petr Yan yet. Someone just said Petr Yan at number 8 is the most mental thing ever. Thank you for the $5. Kenny, I know you ain't talking about getting smoked. All of Lucas viciously beat you in the last debate. Thank you for the $5. Shout out to Kenny Okoye, by the way. I know Kenny disagrees with a lot of this stuff, but, I think I'm making good points, man. I think I'm making good points with this stuff. And, yeah. Did Barbosi craft himself into the list? No. Also, I do have to say this. Edson Barbosi may have one of the most overrated resumes ever. Even though people don't talk about Edson as a GOAT, people will mention Edson as like a notable win. But actually, if you look at Edson's record, I will say this. He is a highlight merchant. His highlight merchant abilities, that has been the thing that has made him a notable win. Edson's a good fighter. I don't even want to start critiquing the Crafty Vets resume because, Edson's a GOAT. Let's just say Edson's top 5 all time and let's be happy with it. Okay? Shout out to Edson Barbosi. The Yan pick or the Yan placement has to be rage bait. The Yan placement isn't rage bait. All right. Lucas, drink your mango lassi, eat a bowl of grits, channel your inner crafty vet, and tell your best friend Ankalaev isn't top 30. Yeah, Ankalaev is not top 30. He only has 1 good win. Here's the problem with Ankalaev. Oh, no, he beat Jan Blachowicz. Actually, maybe Ankalaev should have been top 50. I think I had TJ in here. I should have put Ankalaev in here instead. I actually think Ankalaev has an argument for top 50. Not top 30, but top 50, 100%. 100%. Okay. Do you guys, if you've watched the GOAT video, do you guys agree with the Yan placement? Do you guys agree with the Yan placement? People want me to debate Kenny. Guys, I mean, listen, I would debate Kenny. I know that it's going to be entertaining. I just wanted to do a live stream that isn't necessarily like a debate. I want to talk about all of these. It's just going to turn into like 30 minutes about Izzy, versus like Drickus or some shit like that. You know what I mean? You guys agree with the Yan take or no? Most people are saying no about the Yan take. Yan is top 15 at best. Well, you better have him at least top 15. Here's the thing about Yan, guys. Thank you for the donations. I appreciate it. Get on some UFC 4. Dude, thank you for the donations. Thank you for the $10. How can Conor not even be on this list with wins over Aldo? Because Poirier and Max were rookies, and so was Conor, fair enough, but the Holloway fight, we got to take that with a grain of salt. He was a rookie. We can't act like Conor beat like a actual good version of Max. And then the Dustin fight, it was okay, but it's like, dude, Dustin is a totally different beast a few years later. I still count the Dustin win. I mean, that's why Conor's top 50. Listen, Conor is top 50. He's actually a great fighter. The Aldo win is amazing for Conor. It's a great win. But outside of that, man, like, it's basically Aldo Poirier. That's it. Nate Diaz, he lost to him as well. Alvarez, okay. I think Conor's top 50. I just think that some guys are ahead of him, you know? Like, Gaethje hasn't lost to Nate Diaz. Yeah. But the thing is with Petr Yan is he only has 2 losses in his entire career, and he has like 6 amazing wins and then a bunch of quantity. That's the way that I can sum it up. He has a loss to Aljo, and he has a loss to Morab, and that's it. As far as great wins go, he beat Aljo. He beat Jose. He beat Aldo. He beat Aldo. He beat Aljo. He beat Sandhagen. He beat Song Yadong. He beat Davidson Figueiredo. Right? He's about to beat McGee. And then what's the other one? I think I'm forgetting one more. Let's see. It's Aljo, Aldo, Sandhagen, O'Malley. Yeah, it's the O'Malley one that I'm forgetting. Figueiredo, Song. And then he has like 6 other quantity wins. Rivera, Uriah, Andrade, like 3 others. That's like 12 wins. 12 wins, 6 of them are amazing. 2 losses, 1 loss, very competitive. The other loss to a top 5 GOAT. Like, Petr Yan should be high. I mean, who are you going to have ahead of Yan? Silva, DJ, Aldo? You can't. You can't put them ahead. Like, Yan beat Aldo. He beat Aljo. And he has more great wins than them. So how could he be below these guys? So it'd be one thing if Yan just has 1 win over Aldo and then a bunch of shitty wins and a bunch of L's. Like, no, he has like 2 L's only. A bunch of amazing wins, a bunch of quantity, and he beat the guy. So I really don't think it's controversial. I think that Petr Yan is 100%. I think he is the most underrated fighter in UFC history, and it isn't even fucking close. It isn't even close. It isn't even close. It isn't even close. Petr Yan is 100% better than like most people that are top 5 in most people's GOAT lists. Because most people, they have Silva. If you're a freaking true casual, you got Silva in there. But most people still have DJ. You know, they'll have DC. They'll have Aldo. Like, those guys are showing up. Aldo, DJ. Those guys are showing up. And there's just no debate. There's no debate. You can't argue that some of these guys have better wins. Like, come on, what are we doing? I mean, like, let's get serious. Bro, I'm known as Arman's #1 glazer on TikTok. 18 is crazy. All right, listen, man. I understand that, but like, I think Guru's in the chat. Listen, Guru will understand what I'm talking about. You know, he picked Joel Alvarez to beat Arman Serukian. I remember, bro, going into the Apex, my man was raging when Arman was beating Joel Alvarez's ass, right? But why? Because there was stake on that fight. Why were there stakes on that fight? Because we knew Joel was a beast, bro. We knew he was good, and we knew that Joel Alvarez, like, had potential. And since then, he has like 4 or 5 wins in a row. Before that, he had like 4 wins in a row. Joel Alvarez is a solid fighter, similar to Umar Nurmagomedov, with Morab beating him. You could just use the eye test and know, okay, this guy's a killer. That's a win that is on Arman's resume, and he fucking dominated the guy. Gamrot, we all know that Gamrot lost to Arman. It was a great fight, a competitive fight, but competitive fights can be robberies. If 2 judges score rounds to 2 different fighters, they're both not right. So we know the judges can get things wrong. We complain about robberies. We complain about scorecards all the time. But when it comes to what's on paper, we must agree what's on paper. No. So Arman beat Oliveira, who everyone is so high on. Oliveira has 10 losses, by the way. So that's why, like, this is the thing. You're going to punish Oliveira for having 10 losses. That's why he's not the GOAT. But by not giving Arman credit for not losing, you're almost punishing him as well. He has a win over Oliveira. He has a win over Dariush. He has a win over Gamrot. He has a win over Alvarez. He has a win over Ismagulov. He has 4 more wins. I mean, like, the reason why people think it's rage bait is because they're just not thinking about Arman's resume. I understand he's not popular. This is what I said. It's championship aura. That's what it comes down to. Arman doesn't have championship aura. DC, championship aura. Mighty Mouse, championship aura. Some of these guys, you look at their resumes and you're like, of course he's a GOAT. Of course he is. Because you think of them and immediately you think of them with the belt. You think of them having a long reign. You think of double champ DC, right? When you think of Arman, you think of Arman's an asshole. He's pulling out of a fight. Oh, Arman sucks, bro. Arman sucks. Or, maybe now you're like, Arman destroys Poirier, by any chance, by any way he wants, because for whatever reason, people just want to see Poirier lose. That shit pisses me off so much. I fucking can't stand the people that just will not accept greatness with Poirier. It's fucking annoying, dude. It's freaking annoying to me, man. You guys know what I'm talking about? Like, Poirier could flatline Islam Makhachev, JDM, and freaking Dricus du Plessis back-to-back, and these fans will have a 1,000-yard stare on their face, a blank stare, and they'll say, Vettori beats him. Can't wait for the Vettori fight. Vettori knocks him out. You know what I mean? We think of Arman, we think of like contender that's good, but kind of like Evloev. We kind of think of him like Evloev, bro. But I mean, I understand he's a little bit high. I could totally see you moving him down, but I think I make a good argument. That's all I'm saying. I think I'm making a good argument. Is MMA Guru still in here? Again, guys, I can't see the chat on my computer. So I'm looking at it on my phone. You say these guys are fighting nobodies, but you mention Ismagulov for Arman. Dude, Ismagulov is a decent win. I'm not going to sit there and say Ismagulov is a monster. I've said in the past he's overrated, but he's a decent win. Ismagulov, he's only lost to Arman and he's only lost to Grant Dawson. Outside of that, he has like 6 wins in the UFC. I can't say a guy that has a 6-2 record in the UFC is a bad win. Listen, if we're going to give Khabib credit for beating RDA and Edson Barboza, you better give Arman credit for beating Ismagulov, right? Where's Neil Magny? Magny is going to be in my welterweight GOAT video. He's past GSP, has more wins than GSP. He literally does have more wins than GSP. Thank you for the donations. I appreciate that. Here, guys. Sean Brady, top 25 under logic. No, because he lost to Bilal and he has a win over Leon Edwards. And outside of Leon Edwards, who has he beat? Kelvin Gastelum. Like it goes Leon Edwards, which is a good win, but it falls off of a serious cliff after. Michael Chiesa, Kelvin Gastelum. I mean, Sean Brady has no good wins outside of Leon Edwards. I mean, Kelvin Gastelum is an okay win. It's not even it's like Izmir Ismagulov, bro. It's not that great. Gamrot destroyed Arman. No, he didn't. You need to rewatch that fight. That was a robbery. Listen, if you're looking at the Gamrot fight as a loss for Arman, then it changes the game. It totally changes it. And you shouldn't have Arman in the top 30. You shouldn't have him top 30. The problem is I count that as a win, which obviously changes things massively. Because Gamrot is the level of win that is not going to catapult you to the top 5, but it's also like heavily respected. The only reason why people say things like Dan Hooker still has it is because he has a win over Gamrot, which was arguably a robbery. I'm just going to say that. But that's it. Arman, I think I make a good argument, guys. I think I made a pretty good argument for this stuff. Where's Marty Lewis? Rest in peace, man. Rest in peace to Marty Lewis. Let's not joke about Marty Lewis, guys. Come on. It's not funny. You gotta be let's be a little bit more respectful. What about Gaziev? You left him out. Yeah, Gaziev is not even top 10,000. Gaziev. Honestly, Gaziev, let's be serious, guys. Gaziev may actually be like top 1,000 all time with his win over Budai. Dude, Gaziev actually may be pretty high. Nah, he's about top 1,000. Listen, here's the thing. Bedtime's gonna make a fucking video about this shit. And Bedtime's gonna be saying, I've got DJ. You know, I can't do a Bedtime impression, but he's gonna be saying he's got DJ in his top 5. He's gonna be saying he was trick shotting people. That's Bedtime's. That's how you know you can't make a good argument, when you have to go to trick shotting. He was doing trick shots. He was doing 360 no scopes. That's how you know that you've lost the argument. I'm looking forward to, if he makes one. I know he responded to my last one. He was. DJ was. He absolutely was. But listen, man, we're not putting freaking, what's his name? Who's the guy in PFL? We're not putting Cedric Doumbé top 10 all time because he's trick shotting people. Okay. You're doing this for a reaction from MMA YouTubers? No, I genuinely love the GOAT convo, and I make good arguments. This is the thing. People say I'm rage baiting. I'm not rage baiting. I like making jokes in my videos. Of course, like, I want people to see my videos, but the Arman take is thoroughly argued. Like, I have a good argument for it. Is he a little bit too high? Maybe he's a little bit too high. I'm open to a convo about him being too high, 100%. But I've explained it in depth in this stream, in my video. Like, it's just objectively not rage bait if I can explain it well. The people that are saying things like, Jan being top 10 is insane. Like, those are the people that just will not put any thought into their GOAT ranking system. And they'll have Jan, like, they'll say Jan's maybe like top 50 or like, the thing is, they don't put as much thought into it as I do, because I genuinely probably put more thought into the GOAT list, GOAT convo, than anyone else. I mean, I don't know a single other person. It's not like I know like hundreds of people that are thinking about the GOAT convo, but you guys get my point. You know that I think about the GOAT convo. It's actually interesting to me. It's only interesting because I think there's an objective way to go about it. Is it completely objective? No. But the reason it's interesting is because I think there is some objectivity to the way that we can discuss who's the best fighter of all time. And especially now, given that MMA is a young sport. When MMA is 100 years old, it's going to be really difficult, because it'll eventually reach a point where, the fighters stop getting that much better. Like, it kind of levels off. It reaches its peak. There's not an extra 100,000 people going into the sport every single year, and the level of competition from this year to 20 years from then is similar. It's not at that point right now. Then it'll be a little bit harder, a lot harder. But yeah. Where would you rank Tony Ferguson? I have Tony in the top 50. I have Tony top 50. But I'm not comparing Doumbé's resume to DJ. I'm just saying that, like, I was just making a joke about Bedtime and his take on DJ in his last GOAT video. He had DJ like top 5. Kenny is the number one Izzy Glazer. Thank you for the $10. I mean, listen, we all glaze our favorite fighters, so it's understandable. I get it. I get it. Thoughts on Vettori and Allen being moved to the prelims? UFC is doing all they can to have no trash talking at the press conference. Yeah, it's pathetic. Themba Gorimbo finessed a spot right outside of the top 50. Obviously, we couldn't have him in the top 50, but I think he finessed the 55 spot. Listen. Yeah. I think it's pathetic. I just thought about that. I mean, I guess, yeah, they're not going to be at the press conference. That's just dumb. I mean, but you guys know the UFC, they're not really giving us the best cards. I hope that they can do something good for the White House card. That would be epic, but I don't even know if there is going to be a White House card. It would be cool if there was. That would really be big for the sport. But even then, I just think it's going to be like a Gazia versus Rosenstrike rematch with the way things are going. No walking on eggshells, no beating around the bush. Old heads won't like this, but this is simply the truth. True, man. Thank you for the dono. I appreciate that. You've been watching the Tough season. It's okay, good. I have not been watching Tough. No, I just can't get into Tough, man. Like, it's too sterile. It's too sterile. And what I mean by that is I think some of the allure to Tough back in the day was that it was gritty. It was super niche. And you could watch live fights, or at least, you know, you couldn't get access to a lot of fights. You wanted to watch fights, you had to go on YouTube and search fight. But on Tough, you could see a real professional sanctioned fight. There was no ESPN Plus where you could go back and watch. First off, I can't even watch fights anymore on ESPN Plus. I don't know what to do about that. And you guys know, if you have Fight Pass, if you look up old fights, and I'm not even talking that old, if I'm trying to watch like Holloway fights for my prediction video or whatever, half of the fights I can't even see. It just says, no, you can't see this, which is pathetic. But yeah, it's too HD. It's too sterile. The fighters know that they're not going to get famous on the show anymore. That's a big thing too. Back in the day, if you were on a reality TV show, that was your moment to get famous, because reality TV was the meta. That was the thing. That was like what was popping. That was what people wanted to see, no matter what the subject is. If people like fighting, there's a reality TV show with fighting, I'm going to watch. Now you like fighting, you're not watching Tough. You're watching UFC, you're watching MMA YouTube, you're watching a million different things. You're following fighters online. Going into the show, fighters back in the day actually cared more about getting famous on the show, where they know they're not getting famous on that show anymore, right? And it's just too comfortable. The UFC is too nice. You know, the fighters get there, they're so comfortable, they feel so happy to be a part of the UFC brand that they're not on edge. Back in the day, you got to the UFC warehouse, it was a new company, right? I mean, there was a point where Tough literally had to save the UFC. The UFC was about to fail. Like, not only were you on edge because you don't want to get beat, but Dana White and the fucking guys behind the cameras were on edge because they were like, shit, this business is about to fail. So the entire thing was stressful, and that creates fights. That creates tension. Now you show up to the PI, you're on Tough. You know, they're giving you a protein shake. They're giving you amino acid electrolytes out of UFC shaker bottles. They're giving you free food at the PI, access to any treatment you want at the PI. You're so happy. You're not pissed off. You're not actually going to beef with anyone for real. It's essentially like you're watching the Dana White Contender Series, but you have access to their training. And yeah, man, like they fake all tension. Like, there's no real beef. Like, they have to freaking manufacture beef by playing like dramatic music. And it amounts to a fighter like having some minor disagreement or whatever. So I don't know. Tough is not entertaining, bro. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess like people watch Love Island if you're fucking watching slop, bro. If you're lining up at the trough, I guess. But yeah. Like, you know, back in the day, you could be a normal person and watch, you know, people that were normal people were watching reality TV. Who's actually watching Love Island? What, Darren Till? Darren Till seems like a guy who watches freaking Scousers. You know, that Scousers that can't lay off the drink are the kinds of people that are watching Love Island, bro. Right? That's not even the normal Scouser. Scousers that can't lay off the blow, can't lay off the drink. Those are the people that watch it, bro. Okay. But yeah. Izzy is amazing. I mean, listen, Adesanya, I can't deny he's top 50 all time, 100%. That's why I don't think that it's disrespectful, man. Like, people, you know, Kenny's like, bro, you got to have him top 5. Nah, man. I don't think so. I think top 30 is pretty good. Morab has 3 losses to nobodies, but he had them in the beginning of his career when he was basically a tadpole. Morab, when he was a radioactive tadpole, dude. Morab was the radioactive. He was like a Chernobyl tadpole, you know, because Morab's not human. So, yeah. But he was a tadpole nonetheless. I swear, I think Morab had like 2 losses in the UFC. Like his first 2 fights in the UFC were L's. That's tadpole mode. But you won't even blink an eye. If Oliveira only had 2 losses and they were in his 2 first fights, and he had nothing but wins, you'd say Oliveira is the GOAT of the sport. But with Morab, who doesn't have 10 like Oliveira, some of them being recently, Morab only has 2 when he was an absolute tadpole. Oliveira has some tadpole, rookie, prime, you name it, and amazing wins. Of course, Morab is super high. Thoughts on the new 2 sets to failure gym meta, like Menser style? I've not heard I've not really heard of that, bro. Menser style? I mean, 2 sets to failure, that's it? Like super low volume? I mean, I'm not really into extremely low volume. Anyway, guys, I think I'm going to get going. I just wanted to hop on here to talk about the GOAT list. Flukas, does Ilya make Paddy look easy? No. The last thing I'll talk about is this. Thank you guys for tuning in. I just wanted to rant and rave. I feel like I needed to explain that this is not Ragebait, but I think that Paddy Pimblett is actually a really tough matchup for Topuria. I think that even though Topuria has the better boxing, he is the faster fighter, he is the more powerful fighter, he's the better striker by a long shot. Probably as good of a grappler. Grappling is pretty much the same. I just think that Paddy's string bean front kick up the middle and his snapping kick to the hands. And I also think Paddy's new developed crispy jab that he learned with his striking coach. I just think it's going to be difficult for Topuria, man. I just think it's going to be a real... No. I'm just kidding. Obviously, Topuria is going to sleep him, but I like Paddy Pimblett. I just want him to... I listen, I like Paddy Pimblett. I just think... I just thought that was so funny. His coach was like trying to downplay Topuria. He was saying like Topuria's only beat Volk, Max, and Charles. They've been beat before. And it's like, oh, who is Paddy beat, bro? Anyway, until next time.